On this feast of Christ the King, the Church places us at the foot of the cross. We find ourselves standing there today with Mary, his mother, with John, often called the disciple Jesus loved. Mary of Magdala was said to have been there. A crowd of people and some Roman soldiers are the only other witnesses to this crucifixion. It makes me wonder, where were all the people Jesus healed? Where were the blind people he made see, or the lame people he helped to walk? Where were the deaf people who could now hear? Perhaps they were part of the crowd, or maybe, like the other 10 apostles, the fear of that they would be next was too much for them, and so they fled. And the Church places us there at the foot of the cross on this feast of Christ the King. If we had been standing there, what is it that we would have heard and seen that day? Luke tells us we would have heard people jeering at him, saying, "If you're the Messiah of God, save yourself." We would have heard the soldier saying, "If you are the King of the Jews, save yourself." There is no doubt in their minds that this Jesus was nothing. He was weak and he was helpless, and for that he was ridiculed. The criminals crucified beside him seemed to have a better understanding of what it means to be Messiah. Even the bad thief seems to get it and says, "If you're the Messiah, save yourself and us." Other than Mary and John and Mary of Magdala, only the good thief sees Jesus for who he really is, and then simply asks him, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." What did the good thief see that so many others didn't? He asked someone who was beaten, bloodied, and about to die to remember him. Perhaps he figured there was nothing left to lose. Why not give this a chance? But Jesus would have seen right through that. And so what he did is he saw, or what was it he did that he saw that allowed him to make this audacious statement of faith? "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." It seems to me that the only thing he could have seen to give him any indication of who Jesus was the witness of Jesus on the cross. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." These people who laid seeds to Jesus, these people who spat on him and mocked him as he walked the road to Golgotha, these men who put nails into his hands and feet and then pierced them with a sword, to them Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." The only thing the good thief witnesses that allowed him to call Jesus the Messiah was Jesus' heart, a sacred heart, a heart reaching out to others, to Mary and to John, "Woman, behold your son, behold your mother." To the soldiers, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And even his calling out to his own Father in confused desperation, my God, why have you abandoned me?" That's all the good thief saw. But that was enough. That was enough for him to recognize Jesus for who he was. "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Today, the Church places us at the foot of the cross to allow us the opportunity to recognize Jesus as our Messiah and King. Today, the Church places us at the foot of the cross so that we too can say, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Because it is only when we recognize what the good thief saw, the bloody one on the cross who can invite us into paradise, it's only when we see that we can proclaim, as St. Paul did in our second reading today, "Give thanks to the Father who has made you fit to share in the inheritance of the holy ones in light. He delivered us from the power of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of our sins. Next week, we begin a new church year, the season of Advent. Might I encourage you today to make a commitment to go to confession this Advent season. We are blessed beyond measure to have the sacrament of reconciliation given to us so that, like the good thief, we can know our sins are forgiven by Christ our King. And so that Jesus can say to us, as it said to him, "You too one day will be with me in paradise."